Okay, so we're starting our third part of our review. Factor out the greatest common factor from the polynomial. So we have 4x minus 8y plus 4. So 4x minus 8y plus 4. And what we need to do is factor out the greatest common factor. So when we look at this problem and we look at our numbers, we have a 4, an 8, and a 4. The greatest common factor that goes evenly into all of these numbers is going to be the number 4. So for our answer, we can't give just 4. We're going to have to write what we have left. So when we factor 4 from the 4x, we're left with just an x. When we factor 4 from negative 8y, we're left with a minus 2y. And when we factor 4 from a positive 4, 4 goes into 4 one time. So all of this is the answer that you're going to key in. The GCF, a parenthesis, and then what you have left after you factor 4 from all three terms. Okay? We are to solve this equation, which means we want to give a solution for what x is equal to. As you see here, x equals. So we have a 4x plus 6 and we have a 6x minus 4. Everything is equal to 0. For this one, we are to solve for x. This is section 13. So the key thing in section 13 is we're given a solution and we're going to take the factor 4x plus 6. We're going to set it equal to 0 and solve for x, just like you did in dma40. You're also going to take 6x minus 4, set it equal to 0, and then solve for x. So it's really that simple. It's just like what you did in dma40. So we're going to start on this one by moving the 6 over and subtracting it. So 4x gives us negative 6. We're going to divide both sides by 4. And when we simplify the fraction negative 6 over 4, we get a negative 3/2. For this second part, we're going to move the 4 over by adding it. We're doing the opposite operation. So 6x equals 4. We divide both sides by the 6 to make the 6 cancel. And x is equal to this fraction we reduce to 2/3. So when you give your final solution, the final answer is going to be, and the order does not matter, you're going to have a negative 3/2 and you're going to have a 2/3. You're going to give both of those values as your solutions for x. Do not put parentheses around them. It's not an ordered pair. It is just the solutions of what makes each factor equal to 0. Find the greatest common factor for the following list of numbers: 12, 20, and 56. So the GCF of 12, 20, and 56. Now, when I do this one, I like to use the calculator. And this is from, I think, about section 8. You are going to go to your calculator. And on this regular part, you're going to press the button Math. And you're going to use the right arrow to move it over to NUM. Okay? So let me write that down first. We're going to press Math. We're going to arrow right to NUM. And then here, we're going to choose number 9, where it has GCD. You're going to choose number 9, GCD. You may only use 2 numbers at a time. Okay? So what I'm going to do, where it has GCD, I'm going to put in the 12 and the 20 first. Okay? So let's do that. Choose number 9. Type in 12, the comma is above the 7, and a 20. it gives us a solution of 4. That's going to be our answer for the first two. So when I'm going to put here repeat, and when we repeat, when we do the greatest common factor, we're going to use 4, which was the answer from above, and then we're going to use the 56. So this gave us an answer of 4. We put the answer first, and then we're going to do the third number. So math, arrow right, choose number 9. We're going to type in the answer 4 and our third number, which was 56. So for this, the greatest common factor of all 3 of those terms is going to be the numeral 4. So the greatest common factor here, we got a solution of 4. So your final answer is 4, okay? Learn how to use your calculator and let it do some of the work for you. Factor the trinomial. That means we're just going to factor it to 2 parentheses. So we have 3s squared minus 8s plus 5. 3s squared minus 8s plus 5. And all we're being asked to do is just simply factor. We're going to factor using the calculator steps that we keep going over, okay? So when we factor, we're going to have 2 parentheses. They're both going to start with the letter S. And since when we do our y1 and we type in, we use the a times c divided by x, our a times c is a 3 times 5. So what we're going to type in is 15 divided by x. So if there's a leading coefficient, that number in front, that 3, let's go ahead and write that down on our paper, because the common mistake is people forget to put it on their paper and simplify, okay? On y2, we still have the y1 plus x, and then we remember do second table, and we look in the third column for the b, which is the middle number, okay? So let's go to our calculator, go to y equals. I have 15 divided by x. On the second row, I need to make it y1 plus x. There's 2 ways to get it. Vars, arrow, enter is one way to get y1. Another way is to use alpha, press trace, choose number 1. It makes the y1 appear, and then plus x. Second table, our middle number, we're going to look in the third column, but keep this cursor, the black bar here on the first column. I don't see any negatives. I cannot use the positive 8s. It will give me wrong answers. So I'm going to scroll up and see if I can find, there we go. There's our negative 8. So we have a negative 5 and negative 3. Same thing here, negative 3, negative 5. They're both negative. So we're going to have s minus 3 and a s minus 5. At this point, we then need to simplify if possible. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 5/3 does not reduce, but we move the 3 from the bottom up in front of the s and then write the minus 5. And that would be your final solution. Multiply. Okay, let's start with x plus 2. And then we have x cubed minus 5x plus 4. X cubed minus 5x plus 4. And we're just to multiply. So we have 2 terms times this trinomial. I like to do it this way. I like to take, let's say, that x from here, and I'm going to multiply it times this entire parenthesis, x cubed minus 5x plus 4. Then I'm going to take this plus 2, I'm going to write it here, and I'm going to multiply it also by the second parenthesis. Now, what I have is like two distributing simple problems to work. So as I distribute, x times x cubed gives me x to the fourth. X times negative 5x is a negative 5x squared. X times positive 4 is a plus 4x. So that's all I've done here is I've distributed the first term times all three of the next terms. This positive 2 I'm going to again distribute. So 2 times x cubed is plus 2x cubed. 2 times negative 5x is negative 10x. And 2 times 4 is a positive 8. Once we have gone through that step, we then want to combine like terms. And when we put our answer down, we want to use descending order for the exponents. Use descending order of exponents. So if you are descending, you're starting with larger and going smaller. So this x to the fourth has the largest degree. So x to the fourth is first. There are no other x to the fourths. This is the only x cubed, so I have plus 2x cubed. This is the only x squared, so I have minus 5x squared. I have a 4x minus 10x. So I'm combining the 4x minus the 10x, and that's going to give me a minus 6x. And then this 8 is all by itself, so I just bring that down. And I'm done. So we're distributing the first term and the second term times the whole entire second parenthesis just by distributing. Simple distributing. We have to remember to use those rules from section 1 where we combine the numbers of the exponents as needed. And then once we have that row of 6 terms, we then just simply combine like terms, but put them in order from descending order of the degree of the exponent. In the YouTube video, I did show another method called the box method as an alternative. If you find that you like that, you may use that. That is fine. I just usually find that the distributing to me seems a little bit easier to do. A division. Divide. If the divisor contains 2 or more terms, use long division. Now the divisor is only one term, 6xy, so we're going to use that and put it directly under each term. So first I'm going to write it just as I see it, okay? So we have 6x squared y, 6x squared y, plus 12x squared y squared, minus xy squared. Everything is over 6xy. So when I address this problem, the way I like to do it is to write everything out longhand so you can see it and then mark on each problem. So I have a 6, I have 2 x's, and I have a y. In the bottom, I'm going to put the divisor 6xy. I then have a 12 with 2 x's and 2 y's over a 6xy. Then I have a minus x and a y squared over 6xy. So I hope everybody sees the first thing is real simple. We're just writing out everything but putting 6xy separately under each one. The reason I like to do that is because I want you to see here the 6's cancel, one pair of x's and one pair of y's cancel. All I'm left with is a single x. Okay? Here, 6 goes into 12 2 times. One pair of x's and one pair of y's cancels. I'm left with a 2 and an xy. In the last one, one pair of x's and one pair of y's cancel. I'm left with a y and a 6. Please notice their location. The y is in the numerator, the 6 is in the denominator. The common mistake is people write the 6y left, right, side by side, and that would be 6 times y, not y divided by 6. So don't make that error. The only thing is be careful. You have y in the numerator and 6 in the denominator. Okay? Write the following number in standard notation. 1.416, 1.416 times 10 to the negative 12th. And they want us to write in standard notation. Standard notation simply means, and since we have this negative sign with the exponent, this is scientific notation. That negative here lets us know we're going to move to the left. We're going to move left 12 places. So if I have my 1416, right now the decimal is between the 1 and the 4. I'm going to start here and go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to go left 12 places. The decimal is going to move to the front. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, let's try that again. For some reason, my pen erased it. Okay. We start here and go left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Put the decimal in the front. That 1 counts as one of the 12 places, so we only end up with 11 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 11 zeros and then 1, 4, 1, 6. This decimal here goes away. That is gone. So do not leave a decimal between the 1 and the 4. The decimal, right, decimal moved here. So this is the current location of where it has to be in your answer. Simplify the expression. Assume that all bases are not equal to 0. Okay. So we have 4a to the 4th, b to the 5th. Four a to the 4th, b to the 5th, all of that is cubed over 64 a to the negative 64 a to the 12th, b to the 13th. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the property where everything that's in this parenthesis is raised to the power of 3. So I'm going to start by 4 being raised to the 3rd power. And let me just write it out so you'll realize 4 is going to be cubed. Your a to the 4th is also going to be cubed. Your b to the 5th is also going to be cubed. So going back to your calculator, you're going to take your 4, raise it to the power of 3. That's going to give you 64. So my numerator here, my numerator 4 cubed is going to be 64. A, when you do 4 times 3, that's going to give you a to the 12th. And for your b, 5 times 3 is going to give us 15 over negative 64 a to the 12th, b to the 3rd. Now I want to see what can cancel out. The 64 over the 64 will cancel. The a to the 12th and the a to the 12th, they cancel. But I want you to pay close attention. What is in front? A negative sign. So when you do your final answer, you have to remember to bring down, the negative. All we have left are the b's. For the b, we're going to do 15 minus 13, and that's going to give you a 2. So your final answer is going to be negative b to the 2nd power. And last but not least, we're going to solve this equation and give a solution for what x is equal to. So we have 8x squared plus 10x minus 7. 8x squared plus 10x minus 7 equals 0. And we want to solve and get x equals for our solution. So that means it's in the right order, and we're going to have to factor this trinomial. They're both going to start with an x, and we're going to have to remember to divide by 8. And on y1, we're going to do 8 times negative 7, that answer, divided by x. Okay? So 8 times your negative 7 is going to give you a negative 56. So you're going to do negative 56 divided by x, and we're going to be looking for a positive 10 in the 3rd column. So here, let's clear. Negative 56 divided by x, 2nd table. We're in the 3rd column. Here it is. We got a positive 10, excuse me. That gives us a positive 14 and a minus 4. A plus 14 and a minus 4. So what we do now is we need to simplify these two fractions. As we simplify these, we're going to do 14 divided by 8, and then press math and enter twice. That reduces to 7/4. And then your minus 4/8, negative 4 over 8, you're going to do math, enter, and that gives you a negative 1/2. Now, for a problem like this, they're not asking you to factor, they're asking you to give your solutions. I personally, right now, would not do bottoms up, leave it as it is. Then what we're going to do is we need to set each side equal to 0. So x plus 7/4 needs to be equal to 0, and x minus 1/2 needs to be set equal to 0. All I do is move the 7/4 by subtracting it to move it over, and x equals a negative 7/4. Here I need to add 1/2 to move the 1/2 over, and x is equal to 1/2. So when you give your final solution for x equals, you're going to type in your negative 7/4 and the positive 1/2. And that would be your final solution. And if I do believe, yes, that is our very last question. And that concludes all of the review quiz for DMA 60.